Hey YouTube, coming at you with a Beyond the Hype. So for those of you who do not know what this series is, basically when there is a new Pokemon or Pokemon with new moves, we look at it from a very first analytical perspective, telling you why it's strong versus not strong, cutting through some of the clickbait that you're going to see with other content creators, and then we'll go through some of the battles, how to build with this Pokemon, and then I'll give you my opinion on it. So Primeape, just had the community day yesterday. Rage Fist jumps this up to the number 2 ranked Pokemon. So why is that? So first of all, I think there's a couple good things for it and a couple bad things for it. First of all, this thing is a glass cannon, 140 attack, 99 defense, 115 stamina, which means it hits really, really hard, but it has absolutely it can't take anything. You can barely survive like a mud slap body slam combo from like Gastrodon. It is very, very glassy, but with it you offset that with a great fantastic moveset here. We have Karate Chop, 4.5, one of the best fast moves in the game, 4.5 energy, 3 damage per turn. Close Combat, which is absolute nuke and only 5 fast moves to get to, so 5 times 2 is 10. That's one of the quickest in the game to do 120 damage, 2.67 damage per energy move. Rage Fist. Now before, if you use a Pokemon, you ran Night Slash, which is 35 for 50, which is the same as Rage Fist, 35 for 50. So in terms of the damage per energy, it's the same. Not great in the damage per energy. However, the difference between Night Slash is you have a 12.5 chance of boosting your attack by 2. This is a guaranteed attack boost 100% of the time, one level, which is comes into play a few times here, you're going to see, and we'll go over the strengths and weaknesses of that. Fighting. Now, one of the weaknesses is flying, and flying got nerfed so hard that there's not a ton of flyers, but there is a couple, and right now everyone is using a couple because they're hunting Annihilape and Primeape, and those two are both everywhere. So suggest to teammates Closeair, Toxapex, Jumpluff, Drapion, Mandibuzz, similar to other fighters. Now, in terms of strength that this has, because flying was nerfed and because counter was nerfed, there is not a lot of fighting in this meta. Just all the counters got nerfed. You'd think there'd be more fighters, but as you're going to see here, when you sort by fighting, you have Pangoro. Gallade's not even, it's got Close Combat, which I guess is technically a fighter, but like you wouldn't treat it as like the sort of fighter that we typically use. Annihilape now got a boost, but it was basically Pangoro Machamp. And then you go all the way down here, and then you use like other Pokemon here. So to have now a new fighter out there when the meta was Dugong, Diggersby, Dunsparce, right? There's a lot that it can go up against, and Pangoro you hit super effective against as a dark. So it has a lot of play in the meta. In terms of team building and the move itself and what I've kind of found with it, and I'll go over the teams, how I put them together, and then we'll just kind of play all the battles because you're going to see 3 in a row. First things first, this thing is very, very glassy, so you need bulk. So at least on each team I have one bulky Pokemon. Clodsire and Wiggly on the first one, Dunsparce on the second one, and then Dunsparce and Chargebug on the third team. Again, week 2 Fairy, so that's why I used Clodsire on the first one. Now, I was fine using a poison to cover the Fairy weakness, and then someone brought out a Shadow Girafarig, which is Psychic, and that you are double weak to Psychic. So that's when I switched the team and pulled out Dunsparce, and then I'm like, okay, if I'm going to use Dunsparce week 2 Primeape, that's everywhere. I want to cover it with like at least something else that resists fighting. Then I use Drifblim because I've used Drifblim a few times. So I'm like, Drifblim I know is very strong, but you just get significantly outpaced by these ghost type Rage Fists. So I'm like, nope, that's not going to work. I still want something to resist the fighting. And that's when I brought out Chargebug, and Chargebug used very well. It says 2850 up there. I'm actually up to like 2880 something, 2885. Not all of it was done with Primeape. The majority from 2500 to 2850 was done with another team, which I was going to showcase this afternoon, but instead I'm going to go live and try and do like a stream. So if you want to check that out, if you're around, I think around like 1 o'clock Eastern time, I'll probably do it if you're around. Anyways, let's look at the battles, see how it played out. Talonflame. I saw a lot of Talonflames for the reason that people are hunting people are hunting Primeape. So one of the problems with Primeape is with people hunting Talonflames. I still saw obviously a ton of Clodsires. When the Karate Chop and the close combat are resisted, they very easily don't shield up the first and even the second Rage Fist, and then start shielding up the third, and that puts you at a real disadvantage. Why did I come Annihilate instead of Primeape instead of Wiggly? I'm an idiot. Essentially, it does work out in the ending because it is a team double weak to. It's like a team double weak to Fairy, with the poison on the lead, so it kind of works out. Going straight close combat here, take it out. So this is what I'm talking about, right? I'm just going to go close combat here because if I go Rage Fist, it's not going to do enough. And that is significant. And then Rage Fist, just so quick to get to. Only 4 Karate Chops, so 4 times 2, 8. One of the fastest move in the game. So I take it out, and some more Peko in the back, and then, yep, you are just going to get absolutely deleted here. And this is where some of the bulk for Wiggly comes in, right? So take this Aura Wheel, no problem. It says not very effective, but it was neutral because that was the electric one. That'd be very impressive if it did. Not very effective down to the red, but Cacturn, spicy. So Poison Stings are neutral, so I'll just stand for now. I got 2 answers in the back. So they make a catch on Diggersby. Nice catch. So this is where I will go Primeape. And so here we go. The problem is, could I live a Scorching Sands? Yes. Would I be comfortable taking that Scorching Sands? No. This thing needs like 1 to 2 shields constantly. And if you watch my analysis yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago, when I talked about this Pokemon, like you essentially need 2 shields constantly. But one of the strengths of this Pokemon is when you hit that sort of like second and third Rage Fist and your attack is now boosted times 2 and 3, you feel so comfortable just like double shielding and keeping this Pokemon alive. I think I did that against a Clodsire where I used this as a safe swap, I think on this one. And I don't think I won the matchup, but I basically just committed to the double shield, and just when you're spamming Rage Fists and you're on like your third boosted Rage Fist, like that really adds up. So it's a very strong Pokemon from that perspective. It is the #1 safe swap now. I use it as a safe swap. I don't know if I love that safe swap. As you can see, I use it as a safe swap on the first team, and I use it on the lead on the second and third team. I felt more comfortable with it on the lead with other safe swaps because I just found that as a safe swap, even though it's the #1 ranked, and yes, it is like Drapion where it can just get out of control very quickly, because like Drapion, that has the... so here we go. This is one where I'm going to have to use this as a safe swap, right? But this is the problem. Drapion can take some moves. It's a little more bulky than this Pokemon. But when you're like safe swapping this Pokemon, you already put yourself at a disadvantage that if they're ahead on energy and want to throw a move, you almost need to shield that move, which makes you in a really uncomfortable situation. And speaking about uncomfortable, here's a second Rage Fist. Now I have to burn a shield here. And yes, I'll get to a third one. Actually, I think I played it differently later on, maybe on Team 3 in this matchup. The third time I go close combat, because close combat will one-shot from this range after 2 boosted. Rage Fist, as you're going to see, does not. So that I have to commit to double shield here because I can't take an Earthquake or Stone Edge, probably even though that's resisted, or Sludge Bomb. So then the Quagsire comes in, but now I'm down 2 shields. So I'll grab a shield here back probably because I'm already 2 times boosted. 3 times boosted already. But yeah, they will just take me out very easily. So I think with this Pokemon, what I found was with Drapion, how does it compare to like Drapion? Because this is very similar. It's very similar to Drapion as a safe swap. I don't like the typing as much. I like Drapion's poison dark typing more than I like just the pure fighter typing as a safe swap. But you both have 2 turn fast moves. Karate Chop does more damage and energy. I think same energy generation. or slightly faster. Let me just check that. Let me just check the Karate Chop versus Poison Sting here. Karate Chop, Poison Sting. Same energy per turn, 4.5, but damage per turn, Karate Chop does 2.5 versus Poison Sting's 2. Right? So you do slightly more damage with the Poison Sting. Sorry, with the Karate Chop. So from a save slot perspective, you're charging the same. You have the same fast first move. Aqua Tail and Rage Fist are both 4 to get to, and Crunch versus Close Combat are both 5 to get to. So it plays the same, as in this is a very spammy Pokemon. So why is it ranked higher than Drapion now is you have where Crunch does like maybe 100 and something damage, Close Combat does more. So you have a nuke in that second spot here. And as you can see, like I knew that I could just with a little bit of energy advantage on the lead, they switched out. I'm just going to stay in here because I could just spam. And this Rage Fist, if it's like a neutral or super effective move on Glacier Pokemon, like this thing just ramps up real fast. So I do really like this Pokemon. I think that it is sort of instant meta. And it's instant meta from the perspective of, I think it gets like an extra bump because we don't have a lot of fighters, right? Machamp has been overrated. A lot of people still don't have Pangoro. But now you have just a slightly, I guess with Pangoro it's the same. Like Pangoro, like just actually think of it like a Pangoro. Because Pangoro has Karate Chop, Pangoro has Close Combat, and it has Night Slash, Stab Night Slash, as opposed to the non-stab Rage Fist. So instead of just boosting your attack guaranteed, you have a 12.5% chance of boosting your attack where you guaranteed boosted here. And that guaranteed boost does play a significant role in some of these matchups. So this matchup, like I'm just getting to close combat and just grabbing a shield, or like look how much damage that does to does not quite one shot, but it puts you in a great situation, putting them extremely low. Gonna get met with a Ferrothorn here. That's fine. So I haven't been covering the battles much, because I'll just kind of tell you, because I use 3 teams. I'll just explain how I think you should run this Pokemon and how you should team build with this Pokemon. I had the most success with team number 3. I used team number 3 for another set, which got me another, I think, like I said, 2885 right now. And I'll probably use this set as my first one on the stream tomorrow or later today. I think that having 2 bulky Pokemon that kind of cover each other's weakness-ish with this thing on the lead is very strong, because on the lead, basically it's kind of like if you see a fairy or you see a flyer, I can instant swap Dunsparce. If it's anything neutral, I think it comes down to like what is on the lead. Is it like is it like an okay neutral matchup, or is it one that I need to like take a shield to like win? And then with that, you need to decide how important switch is to you. For me, I found for the most part, if on these matchups, when it was on the lead team 2 and 3, I would often fight for switch when I could. So I had no problem just like shielding up a lot of moves. A lot of times that you're just seeing here that I let that go because I want to see, like, I know that's a Rage Fist. I want to see how much Rage Fist does. The mirror match where you kind of bait versus bait there. Except they didn't bait because they actually just threw on 4. But I went up to 5 and baited, and now I'm going to get this off here. So this will take out or grab a shield. And I'm just going straight Drifloon because I don't want them to get too far ahead on energy. But this time, they already have energy. And now I got to shield this because they're 2 times boosted already. Now they get to Ariados, which is a terrible matchup for them. Sorry, I know I'm jumping all over the place here. I'm just trying to, like, there's 3 teams. I'm trying to cover, like, the pros and cons of this Pokemon, the team building of this Pokemon, stuff like that. So we're 10 minutes in the video. Let's reset here. Start with terms of the meta and ranking. I think that it is a top 10 Pokemon for sure. It's a top 10 Pokemon, and it gets the boost even more because it is the best fighter in the meta. So from that perspective, does it live up to the hype? Yes. Is it the number 2 ranked Pokemon? Now, this is very... I said it's bait dependent, and I kind of went over like, yeah, because like if you see this matchup here against, I forget what it was, Mandibuzz, like you need to bait a Rage Fist and then land a close combat after. So if they don't shield the Rage Fist, then you're going to lose that matchup. So it's that. And someone said that's how I phrase that is kind of false, because baiting is part of the game. Let me see if I can just bring up the comment. I didn't actually have a chance to go through a lot of these comments because it was community day yesterday. Where is it? Let's see if I can search it. Okay. You routinely mention bait-dependent matchups as if most matchups don't come down to baits here and there. It's not really a major downside. It's more the Pokemon like all others having counters and working around that to the best they can. It's more of a Pokemon like all others having counters and working around that the best they can. So I guess my only argument to that is I'm not saying that baiting isn't part of the game. I'm not saying that winning in the one shields sometimes, like again, bait is part of the game that you can win in the one shield. I'm just saying that pvpoke rankings are based on a simulation in the one shield, even energy scenario that gives you a win-loss record against the main meta, and that dictates your ranking. So this Pokemon is ranked number 2 because it has an extremely high win-loss record in the one shield, even energy scenario, but a couple of those wins do require a Shadow Claw bait and then boost your attack and land a close combat. So what I was saying from that perspective is, yes, it is a strong Pokemon, but just be aware that this thing has a 21 and whatever record. Just recognize that it may not be like that in practice because the games will potentially play different and you may not get that bait. That's what I was saying about the bait. But yes, I do understand that having the bait and being able to use it and boost your attack and launch a nuke, and then having your opponent like be scared, like, is this a bait or is this a nuke, is very beneficial to this Pokemon. So yeah, from that perspective, this Pokemon is a top 10 Pokemon. Is it number 2 ranked? Again, I think it gets a boost because it's the only fighter there is and sims well against the top meta. There is still a lot of top meta that it's going to have some problems with, right? You're still going to lose to Clodsire. Mandibuzz is bait dependent. For Alligator, you will win because you'll win CMP, but like Azumarill's up there. Toxapex is up there. Malamar with those, maybe you can win close combat, but those Psy Waves really were adding up in the one shield. So there are some things in the top meta that it's going to have problems with. So whether you put it at 2, 5, 8, 10, I don't really care. Just recognize that it is strong and you should see a lot of it out there. I think that how I would play this Pokemon, like I said, I enjoyed playing it on the lead. Oh, I've got it on the background. Sorry. I enjoyed playing it on the lead because I didn't love it as a safe swap, and I liked the ability to figure out if it was just like a hard punish matchup that I should need to get out, or any sort of neutral matchup, you're good. And this is the thing about this Pokemon, right? It's got a lot of wins. So if you can just like avoid those hard losses, this thing can stay in with a lot of stuff. And that's why I kind of liked it on the lead. So it's just like keep it on the lead. If you see your poisons like Toxapex or Clotsire or stuff like that where you're gonna have problems with, then get out. If not, you got the ability to just like build up to 2 close combats, and if that is a neutral move on your opponent, grab shields, threaten shields, do great damage. So I really liked it on the lead. This is how you play generally a lot of glass cannons, in my opinion, especially those with nukes. It was you either like lead with them or you close with them, right? Try and get shields down and close with them with a shield advantage, or have them on the lead that you can just kind of see what's out there and then determine how many shields you want to use, how you want to play it, and stuff like that. So I enjoyed on the lead. Rage Fist versus close combat. What do you do with those moves? When do you throw one? When do you throw the other? What's the best scenario for each? So I think there's an obvious one is, let's just go with the super obvious ones. If it is like a ghost or something, throw the Rage Fist as fast as possible because it boosts your attack. Not that Karate Chop's are going to do anything against the ghost, but you know. If it's a neutral situation, like I had a Feraligatr, for me the Rage Fist, and it depends on the Pokemon. For Feraligatr, it only takes 5 Karate Chops to get to a close combat, as many Shadow Claws as it takes to get to a Hydro, and you're going to win CMP. So for me, it wasn't, I think I did bait once on the second move, but for me, I think I just went close combat basically every single time in that matchup because you're going to win CMP. I think the only time you maybe want to go Shadow, I just said Shadow because it's a ghost move, Rage Fist first, is if it's tough. I would probably throw close combat 70% of the time if it were up to me. Just because close combat, that damage is so overpowering compared to Rage Fist. Rage Fist is great for, again, a couple things. If you want to, like, if you know that close combat like won't one shot and you need to like boost your attack, if you know that the ghost move is super effective and you can ramp up, if you know that you can just ramp up with this Pokemon anyways with that and just kind of hang out in there with the Karate Chop, Rage Fist, like those are the times where you can throw it. I think the rest of the time I would probably just throw close combat because the damage is so overpowering. And I think the perfect example, I don't know if I had it in here or if it was one of the matchups I just had later on here, where against a Clotsire, the first time I played it, I went Rage Fist, Rage Fist, Rage Fist, and that third Rage Fist did not take out. But the next time I played, I went Rage Fist, close combat, and that close combat did take out because it was just so, it's a nuke, right? So I think either going straight close combat or like boosting once and then going close combat is probably how you play this Pokemon mostly, in my opinion. And then like against bulky stuff like Toxapex or Toxapex, Clotsire, then I'd probably go like 2 Rage Fists and then a close combat on my third one. Because by the time you boost twice, you should be able to knock out from the third move. And then sometimes you can just go like triple Rage Fist because by the third one, they're already done so much damage that you can just go 3 Rage Fists. But yeah, it's an interesting Pokemon. I think it's a strong Pokemon. I think you'll see it a ton. I've already seen the meta shift. Like there was a lot more Talonflames here today trying to find this Pokemon. So I wouldn't be surprised. More fairies too. So I would not be surprised. Like I saw a double fairy team and I've not seen a double fairy team all season because everyone's scared of Clotsire, right? So it's definitely going to shake the meta up a little bit. So just be aware that for team building, you might want to switch it up a little. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Sorry, I know this was like I can tell this was all over the place. That's why I tried to restructure the second half of the video just to kind of give you guys like, let's talk about these three things, because I can tell the first half I was just like, all the thoughts are bouncing in my head here. So hopefully the second half of the video was a little more on track for you guys. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, and hopefully nothing comes up this afternoon that I can actually just jump on at like 1 o'clock Eastern. Probably won't stay long. Like I'll probably be on for like an hour and a half, and then 2:30, because that's when my daughter's in school. The reason I can go on tomorrow or today is because it is Remembrance Day here in Canada, which I think is the same as like Veterans Day in the US and stuff like that. And I work for the federal government, so I get it off. So I'm off tomorrow or today. So that is why I can do a little stream today. So stop by if you're available. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.